Bobby Moore and Sir Jeff Hurst, the Trevor Brooking and Billy Bonds, Paolo Di Canio, West Ham United. We celebrate our victories, we stick together in defeat. Proud of our history, West Ham United, more than just a podcast, more than just a podcast.
Good afternoon, good morning or good evening. This is More Than Just a Podcast. Season 12, episode 47, I believe. And you're hearing the dulcet tones of George for the second time this year.
I know, two
Where are
on
you?
the
What are you
bounce.
doing?
I'm at home recording a podcast with you.
Also, is father. John, where are you? What are you doing?
I'm at home recording with yous.
And finally, Shedman, where are you? What are you doing?
I'm in my shed, sitting on my sofa.
You got a sofa?
Yeah, I got a sofa. Put a sofa in here. As well as
Now, first question before I explain where Len is. Did you finish your kitchen?
Why does that have to be the first question?
Well, because you said over Easter I finished the kitchen.
Listen, I was a very busy man, yeah? and
That's a no then.
The wife was fully understanding. She was quite happy with what I did rather than do the kitchen.
Right.
So
We don't want to know about that.
Well,
It's
no,
not
I feel the skip.
It's not a marriage relation.
I'm a bit of a hoarder, so I filled the skip and cleared out.
Of programs, West Ham memory.
No, not West Ham stuff, but 30 years worth of sort of stuff I've accumulated over my life, bought with me houses, and my timber collection. When I'm sure John knows about timber collections.
Yeah, we had a chat about timber
did,
collection.
Oh.
yeah. So my timber collection went, though hopefully she's not looked at the back because I found some and put it back. Just because you got to have some emergency timber just in case. But a lot of it did go. So
Canning Town Len is not here. He is meeting someone famous, and I can't remember who. And he says he didn't watch the game either. I'm sure he explained why he didn't watch the game next week. But he said, "Well, I did."
Do you want me to tell you who's meeting?
Who's he meeting?
Can I tell us?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Steve Harris, I'm meeting.
Oh, that's it, Steve Harris. He's a popular music person, isn't he?
I once played football against him. I got the mark
Popular
in.
music.
Didn't recognise him
rock
at first.
star. Is that the
Heavy-
right word?
heavy
George?
metal.
Rock star. Heavy metal rock star. Anyway,
We saw Doddsy at the weekend, and he said to me, "Do you really get paid every time Sean plays?"
Did he say that?
he's
I
from
think
the-
hold up. Can
I
we
said
have a
no.
minute's silence for Dodsy's wallet?
Yeah.
Because 6 beers in the boathouse.
Another 5
Sweet.
yeah.
He texted me about his heart attack he had after buying 6 beers in the boathouse.
Ooh.
So,
I
pray
think
silence
Karen
for
Brady
Dodsy's
was
wallet.
there. She made a rare away appearance.
Well, she was at the boathouse, was she?
She was in the
Ugly
in Craven
boathouse.
Cottage, in the actual cottage.
Ugly boat.
Anyway, let's start with George, our fair weather friend, because we won again, and you were there. You must have
I know.
got lucky in the ballot.
I do pick 'em, don't I?
You must have got lucky in the ballot, George.
I must have.
You were lucky in the ballot, George. Let's just leave it there.
Got lucky in the ballot.
Anyway, you had a nice day out. You
I know.
you probably went to the neutral area. That's it. Now I remember, George. Nice day out?
Yeah, it was really good. Helped by the football for once, from what I can remember. It was a good.
Well, talk us through your day. Did you
Result?
Did you set off 2 days before, like Doddsy, to reach it from the Outer Hebrides?
Well, it felt like it because John took a while to get to where we were meeting.
Where
'Cause
did
he
you?
had train problems. Where did we end up meeting? We ended up meeting at Clapham, didn't we, John?
Oh.
Yes.
Are you not on the same line?
No,
Oh, okay.
it's not. It doesn't all go to one place.
All Surrey Hills, isn't it?
Uh,
You're going to say technically your dad's not in Surrey Hills. You're going to get all posh on me, aren't you?
no, I wouldn't. And then we went to the boathouse. We met up with Nigel and Doddsy
Yeah.
and a couple of other gentlemen whose names escape me. Nigel, help me out.
Kelvin and Norm!
There
Oh,
we go.
Norm.
And we had a couple of beers there, and then we headed over to the ground, and we watched not the greatest of performances. Let's be honest. What was it in the
Good
end?
seats, you're right at the front, weren't you?
23.6% possession.
Well, we're
Yeah, I
talking.
mean, Sean, how much do you want to go on about the seats? Because you just shut me down there, and I know
Oh,
I'm
sorry,
just,
I did.
you know,
apologise. Go on.
scared to say anything now.
Yeah.
To be fair. Yeah, 23.6% possession. It felt like that as well at times. I don't think Fulham were particularly threatening in either the first or second half, but it felt like they had the ball non-stop. They were passing it round us. It looked like our boys were struggling quite a bit, being so close to the action and watching it live, which was the first time for a while for me particularly. It looked like they were kind of chasing shadows for a lot of the game. But we got lucky. I think if that had been disallowed for handball, looking back on it now with the VAR shout, I wouldn't have been surprised, but it wasn't. So I did think we did get lucky, swings and roundabouts.
Well, you say
and all
lucky. Dermot Gallagher on Ref Watch on Sky said, absolutely they got it right. I know Silver and all the Fulham fans said it was a definite handball, but what they said was, did the ball touch his arm? Yes. Did it directly lead to a goal? No. Did it directly lead to a player who scored the goal? No. Was it deliberate? No. And Gallagher says, so they were right to rule it a goal. It doesn't matter what Silver says and everybody else. So I don't think we got lucky. According to a ex-professional referee, it was the right decision, George.
I think we got lucky. I've seen that disallowed this season, last season.
Yeah.
That has happened.
Okay.
We didn't really know. Obviously, we were quite low down and couldn't see up the other end very well. And we just saw the ball trickling in the back of the net. We didn't really see who got on the end of it. I was being optimistic in the early stages, saying that Danny Ings got a toe on it, but no, he didn't. It was an own goal. And really, I think with the chances we had in the second half, particularly towards the end when they were pushing for the equaliser, we probably should have won that at least 2-0. If we had finishers and confident players, I would say we would have won that comfortably 2 or 3-0 with the chances we had.
Well, you said, since you mentioned chances, as you said, we had 23%, which means they had 77% at home.
Good maths.
They had 16 shots, 3 on target. We had 9 shots, 5 on target. So maybe we should have been a bit more clinical. They had 11 corners to our 4. So as you say,
surprised. It felt like it.
It's a game of inches, right? There's not a lot in it, but we've got to take it. And let me ask you one last question, because we want to hear from the other boys, all that are
Go on then.
join in the "you don't know what you're doing" to David Moyes.
Do you know what I did because I was very frustrated with the decision to take Ings off. Now
Yeah.
I haven't really looked into it since. I don't know if he had a knock or got problems. He was down on the ground at some point. It did feel like the wrong decision at the time. Did it improve our performance? No. Did we win the game? Yes.
Yeah.
Nothing more I can say on that, really.
Thank you for the pictures of the Moyes out banners as well.
Yeah, no
Well
worries.
spotted.
Nigel didn't like that.
Yeah, I know. We'll talk to him in a minute. John, rare day
Hello.
out for you. Was it another one of those good day outs brought by 90 minutes of football quotes?
No, it was. I mean, the football wasn't great, but to win, whichever way, when you're in the state and position
It's your
that
only
we're
game
in,
this season, is it? Or have you been to
it
another
is
couple?
the only game this season.
Well
Yeah.
what a game to go for.
I
You're a
know.
good luck charm. You should come again on Sunday for the Arsenal game.
Yeah, do you reckon I could? I think
I'll
take
get you
more
a
than
ticket if
luck.
you want. Oh, you could get lucky in the ballot.
Yeah. No, it was.
Don't
It was a
mention
good.
it. Don't mention it.
It was a good day out. Yeah, we got. Yeah. Well, look, I did bump into someone. Tom, who I used to work with. He was there in the neutral, and he sorted us out. So that's how it all happened.
Ah, I knew it was something like that. Well done. Yeah.
And so yeah, it's pretty much what George has said, isn't it? It was great to get a win, a much needed win. I did say at some point when the possession was so greatly in their favour, and they were all over us, but they weren't threatening. They didn't really. There was a couple of saves I think Fabianski made, But you know, you never really felt like they were going to score any minute.
Yeah, he did make a few saves. Did make a difference with Mitrovic being off?
Yeah, I think that helped. We did discuss that at one point, me and George, and you know, and I was there saying, look, I didn't want to draw. I said we need to win this or we lose, because I don't want to draw, because it's just.
You weren't one of
rolling
those
and rolling.
hoping we lost to get rid of David Moyes then?
No, I'd never hope for us to lose.
I don't get that.
I mean,
Each to
I mean, Moyes is. I mean, there's all this stuff going on about Moyes, and you know, you can be. We've got it on here. We've got two of us who clearly want him gone. One of them who's loyal and faithful to him forever, and then we've got you, Sean, who's Mr. Flip Flop, who turns his mind every other week.
Oh look, I want Moyes gone. I think he's run out of steam. Look, whether he stays to the end of the season, just to be clear, I'm not saying that he should stay forever as his tactical genius. He's been found out. I'm just saying I don't know who's going to replace him before the end of the season. I'm still very much of the belief he will be replaced over the summer.
Well, you know, you've got to look at what he did at that game. He reverted completely to type.
Yeah.
Didn't start any of his summer signings. And I think the frustration of you don't know what you're doing came from the fact that everyone could see Antonio having one of the worst games.
Well,
he was just bouncing off him left, right, and centre.
Speech, well, you wouldn't have done because you were drinking, but he did a speech saying, "Oh well, you know, about starting Antonio and Ings. You know, I wanted to change things, and I wanted to try a different formation. You know, because it's not working at the moment." You're going, "No shit, Sherlock." Right?
Yeah, but then don't you know? Ings was having some impact on the game. You know, he had a really good opportunity, which, you know, hopefully he would score more often than not, and he was involved. But Antonio was just absent in the game, really. And, you know, then to take Ings off and leave Antonio on the pitch, I think that was the frustration.
Yeah.
You know.
Did you join in with the "you don't know what you're doing"?
Oh, probably. I can't really remember.
You were that drunk. Did you peak too early, by any chance?
Did I peak too early? No, Sean, I didn't peak too
Not
early.
like me, then.
That's not. It's you that does that after your 2 beers.
Did you? What time did you get home?
About 10:30, 11, something like that.
Oh, not too. Last train home, was it?
No, it wasn't. It's like a nice place for a.
What'd you do?
An away game. Now, when we left you, we went for something to eat, went for a curry, and then we got a train and stopped at Clapham, had a couple of beers or a beer, and then from there trains, and that was it.
All right. Before I move on to Nigel, I'm sure you've listened to Declan Rice's comments.
Which
on the manager.
I haven't, no.
So basically, he said,
if you put it up on your 6'2" stuff, I don't look at that because
well,
you're
it
just
was
baiting.
everywhere,
I know you're baiting.
It was everywhere, and what he said was, I'll just get it up here. But he after the game, he basically said, I think every time we've been in a position where there's been a lot of noise around his job, he's talking about the manager, we've stepped up and won the game. You know, I've just said that inside the dressing room, to bounce back like that, what he did from Wednesday night, that's a top reaction. So that's the first thing he said on Sky News, saying basically every time it's a must-win game for the manager, we step up and win a game. We should do that every time. But then his second comment is, there's no questions being asked over us fighting for the manager or not. I think if you see us out there today, that's a team that will do anything to win a game for this manager. So look, we're going to have to be positive between now and the end of the season. Obviously, we have a big quarter-final on Thursday, but to win today, that Saturday feeling of winning 3 points, it's back. So, you know, all this talk about disharmony in the dressing room, Declan Rice says the opposite. Is that just PR puff from the captain because he's the captain? I think it's just, do you think there's any truth in what he's saying?
Look, you can't hear that as you have, and lots of people have, from like, you know, like I'd say proper journalists like your Jacob Steinbergs of the world, and you can't hear the fact that he's lost at least half the dressing room by the looks of it. The fact his reaction speaks like volumes that there was no, as much as you might say they were knocked or they whatever, there was none of his new signings, summer signings started. So he hasn't got them on board, has he? They're not all fighting for him. So he's reverting back to the old guard that, most of them have probably got the hump with him because the likes of Fornals haven't had a look in, week out. Lanzini doesn't get a look in. So whatever he's doing, he's lost some people somewhere, isn't he? So it's no point.
I don't know. It's a difficult one because, people, unless players come out and say the opposite, it's a bit difficult. I mean, certainly looking at the dog episode with Kara filming Areola and Rice chasing after Maxwell Cornet.
I was chasing his dog.
Headline today, Cornet hounded out of the training ground. I hope you appreciate that a title, clickbait as you say. It looks like they're having a bit of a laugh. It's not doom and gloom. It's not.
That doesn't mean they don't get on, does it?
I guess we won't really know, John. We don't really know what goes on in that dressing room.
No.
And you're right. Rice could be gilding the lily, as they say. Anyway, good 3 points. Respect the win. Nigel,
Yep.
Rare away game for you as well.
Well, I was
Full
at the
house,
last
a
one,
hat
Brighton.
trick. Huh?
I was at the Brighton game.
Oh, were you? Yeah. All right. A double.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep.
How was your day? Huh? You could have been finishing the kitchen.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't. I've been grafting Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday morning. So that was my afternoon off. So, it was good. Meet up with good people, a few beers, go to the game, and then I suppose the fact that he's playing, he's tried something different. People want something different, and then people complain he's done something different. He tried sort of a 4-4-2, though what I would say is it looked like they've forgotten how to play 4-4-2. While it may have been two strikers on the pitch, I'm not quite sure they ever tanned them up together. I don't know, I think John's a bit harsh. Antonio, if the Fulham defender hadn't kicked it into the goal, Antonio was standing behind him and he would have been there. And what I would add is that when we scored, Ings and Antonio were within 5 yards of each other. And
When
that
they
is a
scored, you
first. Yeah, when we scored.
When they scored.
Well, it's an own goal, Sean, so it's our goal. Yeah?
Right.
So you can try and be funny, but actually, it's when we scored.
Okay.
So they were within 5 yards of each other as well. Antonio there. That hadn't happened before. So, and then, I don't know. I got an email today from a friend in America, and he sort of alluded to the fact it was like how the Italians used to play. Get 1-0 up and dig in deep. And that's what happened. You can't dress it up. It weren't pretty football. It weren't entertaining. Yes, Fulham had a lot of the ball, but they did less with the ball. They had like 3 times as much of the ball, but did less than us with it. The chances they had on target were powder puffs straight at Fabianski. So they were good saves for him to make, good heights, everything. The one really good thing Fabianski done wasn't actually a shot on target, but it probably stopped a goal, was when the bloke went to go round him and he got his hand to it. So, which is one in the eye for all those Areola screaming. And it's not the one in the eye for the Areola screamers, it's the one in the eye that think Fabianski can't do it. Because he can, and he does. So, in regards, no new signings or whatever, obviously Ings was there, so he's not a summer signing.
But that's what they were saying, summer signing, was a winter signing.
So,
and obviously, Paquetá
had an injury.
He's
Scamacca's got a knock.
He's got a foot injury.
So that's the 2 big ones he couldn't pick.
And Scamacca was injured anyway with the knee. We know he's out for 2 weeks.
Is there an echo? Did I not just say that?
All right.
Agerd obviously has paid maybe a harsh penalty, I think, for the mistake against Newcastle,
Yeah.
but it seems like he wanted to bring Ogbonna in.
Who had a good game.
Who did that? Yeah, and you can't fault every man. You know, they dug in. It was a battling away performance. It was the type of performance. You know, West Ham fans celebrated a 0-0 draw against Chelsea once under Allardyce.
I remember
That
it.
was a far worse performance than that. Yeah, and I think basically what's happened now is the fan base has become so fractured and toxic over Moyes now that no matter what happens, you know, people have picked their sides, a bit like Brexit. It's now like Moyes' exit, or however you want to dress it up. And the battle, not the battle lines are drawn. You know, John there said, "Oh, one that will do anything and follow him to the end," which is not true of me. I will back him while he's the man in charge. I can't sack the managers or hire them. I think Moyes has earned enough to actually see us to the end of the season. Going forward after that, I can't see a future for him at the club. Even if he wins, I don't think we're going down. Despite the fact that many people that have said if we keep him, we're going down. Well, it don't look like that's going to happen.
That looks unlikely now.
Yeah, it looks unlikely, but look, stranger things have happened at
I
sea.
think-
Well, look, I'll still stand by my tenner.
Well, you can still stand by it.
34 points, I believe.
I'll give it to you.
That'll give us
34
half a pint in the boathouse.
34 or 35 points, I think, is enough to keep us up this season.
Well, whatever. I'm not sure about that or whatever. I think you might need 37, 38 points to stay up.
We're getting
Personally,
40 anyway. Supercomputer said it.
so I'm only 1 point down on my 22-point prediction from a few weeks ago.
We might beat Arsenal on Sunday.
So, well, I put that down as a loss. So even if we lose, I'm still
Okay.
hanging around on that. You know, long term on a future, there's two ways I just sit up. One, when West Ham win away, it's always great because even under the great days of Harry Redknapp, there would be seasons where we only won 2 or 3 away games. So
That was our
only
second, wasn't it?
Yes,
Is
that
right?
was our second away game, away win. Our first being in August. So away wins are good. But on the negative, I did, and I said this after the game, of West Ham really become a team that gets dominated in possession by Fulham. That's and that's not great. No matter what, however you dress it up, David Moyes wants to dress it up or whatever. You know, that's not great.
It's just like, when's the last
be in
time
that situation.
we had a positive possession
It's not
in
even
any game?
I'm not bothered about possession stats or whatever. I don't sit there going, during the game, John, do you think, we've only had the ball 58, 48%?
I don't, but when I was
of the time?
watching
No.
that game, I said, we have
No, well, you know it.
no,
No, and that's
we've
the thing.
hardly touched the ball here.
And that's the thing. It was so obvious because we were watching it with our eyes. And that's what I'm saying. I never thought that we would ever be that against a team like Fulham. And that may be detrimental to Fulham, but we've got to look at the type of club we are and the type of club they are. And no matter
they're
what way
10th
you
position,
dress it
aren't
up,
they?
don't ever forget that. No
Above
matter
Chelsea.
what you are, they're above Chelsea on goal difference anyway. We're only 9 points behind them, madly enough. So
In that prediction, it shows that Chelsea should finish 10th. That Man City will pit Arsenal to the Premier League, and Liverpool will finish 7th and qualify for the conference Europa Conference League. Won't that be fun next year to watch Liverpool if that happens?
Well, we'll see. Let's see if they go for it like we are. In regards to the Declan Rice stuff,
Yeah.
Is it PR flannel or is it thing? I think what he said was, and how he came out with it, it wasn't like he was pushed on it. He volunteered that. So the questionnaire hasn't gone to him about that. He's brought that up, and I think that is different. I think if there's not upset players in the club, I'd want to know why for a start.
Yeah.
There's upset players in the club when the club's winning. There's always upset players in the club. I don't think the picture painted recently, as in various circles, as helped the situation whatsoever. In this day and age of journalists on social media and social media accounts and everything else, even like podcasts the same as us, sometimes things can be given as a point of view and people think that's really what's happening as gospel, and it ain't. And
I agree. I think it's not just content providers that got agenda. I think some of the coaching staff that would like his job have got an agenda. I'm not going to name them, but I can think of two.
Yeah.
I think some players have
Ovis.
agenda that are not playing, right? And I think agents have agenda and they feed the press and the media as well. So there's a whole... Everyone's got agendas. I know we use this word a lot, and we get accused of being...
You've got to try and look through it, and that's...
But everybody has a point of view and has their own agenda.
Perhaps I can be accused of sitting on the fence. So that's I try and
that's your agenda.
Yeah, but that's
you must have splinters, Nigel.
I try and look through the flannel, as I call it, and because I tell you what, if what's been said was true, we wouldn't have won that game. The players wouldn't have been putting in the effort. They put in effort, and they have been putting in effort. And that's the thing. If they were out to get him the sack, or if they didn't want to play for him or whatever, we would be in the bottom three. But we're not, and that's why I err on the side was I don't think whoever's putting those stories out is really doing the club a favour.
No.
And I don't mean the people telling it. I mean those that are instigating that
there
information.
are lots of stories, and I think. Did you join in with You Don't Know What You're Doing?
No.
Moyes was asked about the chants and the banner afterwards, and quite, he was asked a particular question by the reporters, and of course he was, and he said, "I can't really answer that, can I?" And then asked, it was pushed on it again, and he said they can do what they choose to do so, which is fair enough. Whatever.
Look, that's a section of the fan base.
He was then asked,
not everybody.
Could this negativity from the crowd put pressure on his players? And he says, it can do, yes.
Yeah. And let's face it, it was listen, the Don't Know What You're Doing was a response to, after 60 minutes, like it was almost like a revert to type. And you could see it knocked him. John will tell you, George will tell you, he just sat down. And that ain't a Moyes type thing. He just sat in his chair. I think it got to him enough, whether it upset him or made him angry, I don't know.
How much is a banner like that? 200 quid? 100 quid?
No, it wasn't, probably. But look, they were in front of me.
It's not just like printing it out,
to get it to be seen. They got their point of view. They're welcome. And listen, if they want to go...
Can I get Moyes back in? Or what was the one with Man City?
That was in for City to keep him at Man United.
Yeah. I know, and Nigel sent it to me. I was just winding up Nick. I was only sending it on Twitter.
I was trying to see if I could hook Sean, but he did spot the Man City.
I did spot the Man City, but I used it to wind up Nick, because Nick was blocking people who didn't agree with him. So I was seeing if I could get blocked.
You can't really, all of what you've just said about, disinformation or whatever, there is something somewhere not right. The performances prove that in, week out.
I think it's tactics, though. There's a difference, though, John, between the tactics being absolutely awful, and I think we'd all agree with that, and there being no dressing room spirit. And I think every time you see them, there seems to be a bit of spirit and camaraderie in the dressing room, regardless of David Moyes. And
but it must be hard to have no spirit when you're multi-millionaires playing football each week and just having a laugh. Yeah. It must be hard not to be totally miserable and whatever.
I know,
but
they get paid anyway.
The successful teams have a better camaraderie and a better drive, and they're the successful teams.
I actually think the because of Moyes, and maybe it's a good thing. I think the players have had a bit of an easier ride from the fan base, because Moyes has been the target. There's a lot of players. At the end of the day, the Newcastle game, which we've not covered, skip that one, Sean.
Oh, we did, didn't we?
If you look at the Newcastle game, to have one individual mistake, that's unlucky. 2 is unfortunate. 3, I don't know how you classify it, but then to have 4 individual mistakes, different players, I've never known that to happen. And even the 5th goal, you could probably say to Paquetá, but Paquetá, to be fair, did lose the ball on the edge of the penalty area. And I don't know. The 3rd goal was the killer goal, straight after half time, with a mistake by a Gerd. But then, while that may be harsh on a Gerd, was that a tactical thing? All this playing out from the back. You know what I say? A goalkeeper's there, kick the fucking ball out. You know? But he's not. He's got to roll it out, hasn't he? And we've got to play about.
I'm surprised you remember it. You were watching Only Fools and Horses.
Yeah, I did watch a rerun at it. Yeah, I was at the theatre.
I'm not a true supporter because I left a bit early. I left after the 4th goal.
Yeah,
according
you're
to
not.
Boys.
Yeah.
Me and like 20,000 other people.
Well,
And a good few others. A good few
I was gonna
others.
say,
Taking it. It was lump on West Ham that after that when it was,
It was, I mean,
lump on the fans, lump on.
Do
It
you know
couldn't have
what?
been that bad because Charlie took his dad and basically his dad said, "Oh, I might get a season ticket." So I didn't know how
Goals
to
are fun,
take
maybe.
that.
Did he? Maybe he meant a Newcastle season ticket.
So,
John,
but yeah,
do you know
so-
what? If I'd stayed to the end, I might have got a train easier because there's so many people left at the same time. The trains, it didn't make any difference. It was just I couldn't watch anymore.
Yeah, I can understand it.
And I forgot. I erased it from my memory. But well done, Nigel. Is there anything constructive you want to say about the 5-1 defeat, John or George?
The reaction on Saturday was the constructive. They worked hard. They put in a performance. It wasn't of any quality, but it was
It was like they were
100%
chasing shadows
effort.
at times, wasn't it?
yeah. It was full of effort, and they all really had a go. So you know,
Yeah, it was a hard watch.
but it's getting to the point. You know, they've got it about them. If you look at it and you need like 2 wins out of the next 9 games or whatever it is, just get them wins below your belt and get the pressure off your back. You know, but it's hard to do when you've got Arsenal next up, I suppose.
Yeah. I will say, although I left 10 minutes early on the Wednesday, I did go on Thursday and watch the whole game, and what a breath of fresh air to see the under-18s. 7,000 people in the West Stand. All the seats were sold out in the West Stand, so it must be 7,000. And they won 6-1, almost a reverse fixture, and that they look like mustard. They really do. I really do hope you're going to come to the final, Booches and Nigel.
Well, at the Emirates.
Yeah,
it's
Hang
the
on, who
same
are we
day
playing
as
in the
Palace
final?
away.
Arsenal,
And we're playing it at the Emirates.
and we're
Yes.
playing at the Emirates. They've
The
moved their
Emirates
game.
the Emirates was chosen in advance
right.
It
before
was,
they
yeah.
knew who was going to be in. I don't know how the tickets will be allocated if we then become the away team and only get the corner, or whether we'd get more tickets. Because you would think a final, to be
I
fair,
thought there would be.
should be 50-50.
Yeah,
The
that's what I
stories
thought.
I'm hearing, it could be we just get the 15%.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was supposed to be like a neutral venue. It's irrelevant
Well-
of who's home or away.
Of course, they picked it for that day without looking to see whether they were playing or not.
Well, they've moved the game now, haven't they? to the
Yeah,
second?
that's the thing. Yeah, so
They're playing Chelsea, aren't they?
they are. Yeah, on the Tuesday night now.
No, yeah. Anyway, we should look at that. It's, but so out of the abysmal, rainy Wednesday night, the kids did us proud, and I can see it. They only need one more point to win the title, don't they? And funny enough, I think is it this weekend they're playing Arsenal,
Yes, yeah. it
so a
is.
little bit of a dry run.
And the funny thing about it is Arsenal were
Nothing on the
mid-table
line for that
team.
one, is it?
I think Man City were top of the northern section. We're top of the southern section.
Yeah,
And also, Arsenal, we've already beat Arsenal already this season at home.
Easy
Or
then,
was
yeah.
it away? Well, it's one of them things. Obviously, that was a bit of a shock. I think Arsenal beating Man City. So, you can't be complacent.
Cup football, innit?
But we all watched the game, didn't we? The Southampton semi-final. Did we watch it? Oh no, I did. Sean watched it.
Yeah.
I didn't. I was out.
All right.
It was a good game.
That was.
Met our old mate Bruno, Nigel. George and John. Do you remember Bruno?
He was
do.
at Fulham.
He was there at Fulham as well, was he?
Yeah.
Oh.
I know who he is.
Yeah. He used to sit next to us in Trevor Brook in Lower. And when we first moved there, what did he say to us, John, on the first day?
Before he knew what a twat he was.
He says, "Never sit down, and we always sing. If you follow these two rules, you'll get on fine with me." He stood behind us, or in front of us. I can't remember.
But I mean, as performances go from a youth team, I mean, I watched this. Funny enough, I watched the Ipswich quarter final, and that was quite a comeback and a win in extra time. But I mean, Southampton, a couple of their youth players look quite sharp. I thought our youth team was absolutely outstanding. You can see how they're running away with that league.
Yeah. 36 scouts there to watch players there.
Yeah, well,
You know who they were there to see, though, don't you?
well, probably Mubama.
Yeah, Mubama. Yeah.
At the end of the day, he should be getting a look in.
Yeah.
And there's a bit of me thinks it's a pity we're not bobbing around mid-table mediocrity, because I think he may be getting more of a look in.
Yeah.
But there's more than him there. If you think back, I think we won the Youth Cup in '63 for the first time. Harry Redknapp was in the team. John Charles was in the team. I think even the goalkeeper made first team appearances. I think we took 4 or 5, maybe 6 from that team into the first team. 81, Alan Dickens. I think Bobby Barnes was in the team. Paul Allen was in the team. Who strangely became possibly the only player to ever win the FA Cup final before he won the FA Youth Cup final. I can't think anyone's ever done that. Then you fast forward on to 99, wasn't it? Joe Cole, Carrick. I think Adam Newton had a couple of run out, didn't really do well. Manion Noemni, no, that was after. He was in the losing final. So when we get to finals, we generally, I think Bobby Moore's youth team got to the final, lost to Man United. People will come through. So I'm looking at that youth team thinking 3 or 4. Can do it.
I reckon so. I think there's a few.
Not the goalkeeper,
they look
sadly,
really,
'cause
they're
we don't
really
bring
well
goalkeepers
supported.
through,
It's really good.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on. We're not going to do a 2 episode. We're going to do a 1 episode because it's bank holiday week and everything. So it's time for this.
Facebook Twitter question time.
Facebook, Twitter question time, where you, the 9 listeners, get to ask.
Well, no news.
Well, what news do you want? Read 6
I
foot
dunno.
2. I've been away, haven't I? What news do you want?
Sean, if we
normally
didn't do, you're always away. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You go away, you spend half the day on Twitter, still winding people up.
No, I don't. What
Yes,
are
you
you
do.
talking about?
You was non-stop on Twitter, tweeting shit,
Only on
tweeting
match
videos. Well, yeah, but you were on holiday.
Yeah, well, I was sitting in a park on while the match was being played in Paradise Gardens.
So no news.
What news do you want? Beyond, TalkSport say that David Sullivan is going to dispense with David Moyes over the summer. No proof of that. Masuaku has now played 25 games of over 45 minutes, but the Besiktas manager now says we haven't made up our mind on Masuaku, so it doesn't make sense. We've talked about Moyes and Rice's comments, and I can't think of anything else that's happened in the last week that's been that newsworthy, to be honest, unless you remind me, Nigel.
No. When's the final?
The final's on the 29th of April.
What time?
I'm guessing 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock.
All right, okay. That's a poor guess then. It's a 7 o'clock kickoff.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. West Ham are playing that day.
Are they?
Are they? I'm asking you. You're the newsman.
I don't think so.
Okay, we're playing Crystal Palace. What time's
Oh.
kick-off away?
Oh, are you going to say that there's a
12:30.
clash?
12:30. Thank you very much for
Oh,
that.
so it might be a long day. Okay.
Oh, dear. We got there in the end.
All
Well
right.
done.
All right.
Yes.
Skamaka is still got another week of recovering, could return to training later this week. He's got a problem with his knee, he's been treated. Paquetá's got a problem with his foot. He's started training today, and obviously the boys fly off to Belgium tomorrow in their little airplane. I'll be tracking from Stansted to XL Airlines.
Stalker.
Say that. All right. Say that again.
They'll be taken off from their airplane.
Oh, right.
They chart the same airplane each time. It's a Boeing 737. So if you know the registration of it, you just look at where it's flying.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Apart from that, I don't think there's any real news, is there? We lost a game. We won a youth game. We won a game against 10th place.
Well, as Moyes says, we had 2 good solid victories this week. It's been a good week.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Anyway, I'll try again.
Forgot about the one in the middle.
Well, it has, isn't it? To be fair.
Quick question time.
Take 2. Yeah.
We still
Facebook
lost
Twitter
5-3 on aggregate.
where you, the 9 listeners, ask us, the 4 presenters, questions. And hopefully not too many.
So,
Hope so.
Dave Volksig has texted in.
Oh,
Old sink.
Yeah. Apart from giving me his life story, what he did Saturday, he says
Passover, wasn't it?
it was, yeah. But he couldn't pass over the chance to send in a question.
Oh, yeah.
24% possession with a win from an own goal is not what I would call impressive numbers. He then follows it up with it's widely assumed, that's your assumption, Dave, that had we lost, Moyes would have been gone. What, if anything, in Saturday's performance gives us evidence that Moyes should remain in charge? And then follows it up with a bounce here and there, and we could have drawn or lost. Well, Dave, if you aren't had balls, it should have been your uncle, mate, with a bounce here or there. But she ain't, is she?
Oh, I see one of the comments is from your wife. Look forward to that.
Oh, was it? Oh. So, any evidence why he should remain in charge?
No. I just want to get to the end of the season, secure our Premier League, spend the summer looking who's going to take over.
The evidence while he's in charge is the lack of ability or quality from our ownership to do anything about it. And I've got to the point now that you'll end up with Dean Smith. And that's what is happening, isn't it?
Too late.
It's gone. It's too late, yeah. It's all too late.
Would you be happy with Dean Smith? Be careful what you wish for. I was saying this to someone else.
I would still, to this day, I'd let Nolan, Noble, or a combination of anyone just step in for the rest of the season.
That didn't work at Leicester, did it? And the funny thing about Leicester is that if they'd have brought a manager in straight away, he would have had a couple of easy games, including Bournemouth at the weekend. And when I say I don't take that lightly, Bournemouth are no mugs, but Dean Smith's first game in charge is Man City.
Bless him.
So they've just lost to Bournemouth and thought, oh no, we've got to get someone in. And now they bring the bloke in.
But Nolan isn't. Nolan's got some history of management. He's not a nobody, is he?
Orient. and Notts County.
Yeah, but
so
still, if it is as it's been suggested, a dislike of Moyes by certain parties, then a new person picking the team, a new voice might help.
if
A bit
that
late.
is
It's
to
still
be believed,
but it's bottom line. It's not happening, and it's all too late, isn't it?
yeah.
So we've
But
got to hope.
I mean, who would you rather in charge? Would you rather have Brendan Rodgers or Dean Smith? Who's going to get you out of the trouble? Who's got a better chance of getting you out of trouble?
Well, again, there was a lot of outside circumstances around Brendan Rodgers' demise at Leicester.
Yeah.
So you just don't know what he was like in there again, do we?
I just don't think you can. It's there's always context involved, and a manager doesn't become a bad manager overnight. Moyes is the same manager we had 2 years ago, right? You could say he's been found out. You could say that the same Eddie Howe, sacked by Bournemouth, wasn't a poor manager then. Now he's doing well. So there's context to all of it. If you said, "Oh, I never want a manager that's relegated a team," that would sort of limit your chances as well.
Had affordability.
Yeah, there's, as you say, money available. There's lots of different things. Bit of luck. Anyway,
well, the decision weren't made, was it?
no,
We have got him. He is
He's
here till the
staying.
end of the
Yeah,
season.
he's staying.
he's staying. In fact, his odds have gone to
Quickly-
7-1.
John and George, I would aim this at. If George is there.
I'm here. Sorry, I had to step away for a child.
No, I can hear why.
We can hear some crying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah. But luckily you are married. And that's the department. Anyway. Would you still replace Moyes now? Or do you both think actually we need to forget about it and just get behind whoever's there and then see what happens at the end of the season? Where do you both stand on acceptance? I would call it.
I do feel a bit like it's a bit too late now. And if we were to make a change, and it would take a while for that person to get a hold of things and turn it around and really do what we'd hope they do. The problem I have, I don't think we're going down now. I think this last week, these 6 points are massive. I think the result on Saturday was massive. I don't think we're going down. I don't want David Moyes to be our manager next season. The problem I have is that if we win a cup, which we well could do, and we finish 14th, 15th in the Premier League, I fear that David Sullivan's going to go, I can't sack him, he's just won West Ham their first trophy in 40 odd years, and that's my fear. But no, I don't think he changes now. I think that's it till the end of the season.
Yeah, I'd only consider changing him if they had someone in mind who they thought were going to take us forward and get him to come in now. If they were to have to do what this other team seem to be doing, like it's working for Palace, bring back Roy Hodgson.
Yeah.
But, there was talk of bringing back Harry Redknapp for the rest of the season. Yeah.
My source says no.
Alan Kirbishley.
Alan Kirbishley.
Or an Alan Kirbishley.
Alan Kirbishley. So, you don't tell people how sausages are made, Sean, do we?
No,
No.
do not.
But, when you're looking at that, then you sort of think, you know what, it's looking... I mean, we could still go down. We could not win another game to the end of the season, and it's not enough points. But we're all hopeful that we and it more likely that we'll probably win another one or two. So you just leave well alone now, don't you? It's what's done is done. Hope for the best, but I would like to see a change in the summer. But I do agree with George. If he wins the trophy and we don't get relegated, our ownership aren't getting rid of him unless he
I
walks
don't
away.
I think they will. I
Well,
like to think Alex Crook from Talksport is correct on this one.
Well,
Anyway,
if he's kept
Alice?
next season,
Alex.
I would just hope that
Who the fuck is Alex?
it's put out. Well, he's their chief
Oh, it's
reporter.
Alex.
He replaced the Moose. Actually, I would hope that they would come out and say, it'll, which is like a dead man walking. You can't do it, but you would say, we're only keeping him for a year, so his contract's up, and then he'll leave.
Mm-hmm. Anyway,
prepare the route, and I think people might be a bit more accepting. Though I doubt it.
but then you will just see, the likes of Paqueta, Scamacca and all that will all be gone in the summer for a loss, and all these players, where do we end up? There's talk of some financial restriction coming our way, isn't there, as well?
well, we're on a watch list, but then everybody is. Anyway, that's the longest answer to one question that didn't even get put on Facebook. That private message by David.
Yeah, well, he's got a shortcut, hasn't he? Shut up moaning. Michael Levy Jr., the soul-singing superstar of Tenerife. Evening, gents. Is it time to bring Downs into the team and let Rice go more box to box? Or have two holding players against teams like Arsenal? Either way, about time we started giving Downs some proper minutes, isn't it? Before Rice goes. He says, thanks as always, and love from the sunshine.
Yeah, free hit on Sunday.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. Downs, when he came on Saturday, there's a improvement. He should be starting in front of Souček.
But it's a stubborn thing, isn't it, with Moyes? He won't drop Souček.
I was just going to say, what does Souček do that Downs don't?
He's got some photos. He's got some compromising shit on Moyes. It must be.
Souček's probably better in the air, but historically,
football's played on the ground though.
Yeah, at the moment he's so out of form in general that Downs is he looks so much better when he comes on. So I agree.
Souček is better at making potato salad.
All right. Cheers, Satchel. Next up, Anthony Collins with a G. Evening, chaps. He says, it was nice to see a more attacking approach against Newcastle, even though it didn't end too well. But do you think that was Moyes' tactics or the players ignoring instructions? He said it seems strange to drop Ings in a game that would have suited him, getting the midfield forward and the ball in the box. He also finishes with Soccer AM seemingly coming to an end this year. He said, which I religiously had to watch when I was younger. What's your favourite sports show, past or present? And are there any you wish were brought back? Brady out.
Brady out.
So,
weren't they looking to get some West Ham people on last week?
They did. There was people. Yeah,
was anyone we knew?
Not that I know. No.
Not as famous as when me and George were.
Even when you was on there, I didn't know you.
Yeah. We had a good time, didn't we, George?
Yeah. With the Chinese geezer. I was just thinking, where the fuck did they find this lot?
I don't know. Where did we find George's off?
Fu Manchu.
You can't say that.
Why?
Cause
that was his name.
Was it?
Shuey, wasn't it?
I don't know. I forget who invited us, but
right. I made up the Fu Man bit, all right.
And my good neighbour, Jimmy Bullard, is obviously going to be out of a job.
Oh, right. Well, yeah, I'm sure he'll be all right.
Go back to managing.
So, you didn't say with the Newcastle bit, was it attacking? Dodsley said it was the best opening 5 minutes we've had for ages.
Yeah, it was a good 6 minutes. The first 6 minutes were attacking. You're right.
All right.
6 minutes it was. The first 6 minutes were amazing. We think we're going for it, and then wallop, that didn't last. But he's right. For the first 6 minutes, we went for it. We hit the post, I think, in those 6 minutes as well.
Yeah. So actually, bearing in mind So we've hit the post in that game, and then we've scored against Fulham.
Well, we didn't
And
score.
apart
They
from the
scored.
Zuma, well, we didn't hit the post then, Sean, by that standard.
Well, yeah, one of their players didn't hit the post. We hit the post.
Yeah. Well, no, we didn't hit the post then. If you're saying we didn't score against Fulham, we didn't hit the post.
Because
Yeah, no, there's a difference. It was
Is
a
there?
West Ham player that hit the post.
No,
no,
it
it
weren't.
wasn't.
Sean.
It wasn't.
Was it not?
No.
No.
Oh, I
It's only
didn't
up
watch
your
the
end.
replay. Who
Don't
did
worry.
it come off?
Fulham defender. Newcastle defender.
I didn't know that. I didn't
Yeah.
know that. Sorry, I missed that. And I was
I
thinking,
think
what are
it
you
was
talking about?
Kamiris.
Oh, now you say it. I saw it's coming back to me.
Oh, Bruno Guimaraes.
Kamiris.
Yeah. Now you say it's coming back to me now.
Right, okay. Thanks for that. Anyway, so Soccer AM's coming in. What show you bringing back? Sports show.
The big match.
Oh,
Or grandstand. Bit of Dickie
grandstand,
Davis.
that's good.
Well done there, because you've done a Sean. That's a Seanism there.
What?
Well, obviously, grandstand was Frank Boff. Dickie Davis was World of Sport.
Was it?
Yeah.
Ah,
There you go.
there you go. So like Sean I am, I can't believe it.
Yeah. So what one? So you've sort of brought one show back, but with the rival presenter. I suppose grandstand with Dickie Davis, even though he's just died. But then again, Frank Boff's been dead for a year or two.
Let's have Frank Boff, he liked to party more.
He did, didn't he?
Yeah.
Especially in Stockton's the suspender belts. Any other show? George, you want to bring a show back?
I'm really sorry. I haven't been here for the last 3 minutes.
We know we asked you a question.
Yeah, sports show. Bring a sports show. No longer shown. You want to bring it back?
Because of the demise of Soccer AM.
Oh, okay. Thanks for the context.
There you go.
That's all right.
I am sad to see Soccer AM go, to be fair. I do still have that on in the background on a Saturday morning. It's obviously not up to its usual or previous standards, but it still does the job for me. Nothing springs out, if I'm honest.
How about Gazzetta Football Italia?
Before my time, that.
That wasn't. It only finished in like 2000. It was in the
That's
90s.
20 years
how
ago.
old
So
was I?
John would have been about 10 when it finished then.
How old was I in 2000?
2002. I'm just looking it up. Channel 4. 2002 it
It
finished.
started in late
I was
80s,
10.
didn't it?
No, 1992 it says
Oh,
here.
92.
That's right. It started the year you were born, George.
And
Yeah,
finished
you
when I was
must have
10.
watched it,
Yeah,
John.
you should have watched it.
You're Italian after all.
You must have seen some of it. It was a classic.
I never used to watch
No,
it.
I know what it is.
I
I've
never
seen
used
some
to
of
watch it
but-
either.
No. Fucking Italian football.
How about Fancy Football League on BBC Two as well, with old Badil and Skinner?
Skinner, that was all right.
Yeah.
That's back.
Yeah.
That is back though, isn't it? That the format's back on Sky. It's hosted by Matt Lucas
and
and
Ellis
you-
James.
Can't forget Saint and Greavesy on ITV.
Let's bring
You
that.
kill me, Greavesy.
It's a funny old game.
That was classic, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was good. I mean, if I'm bringing something back, to be fair, I'd bring back Question Time. Not Question Time, Question of Sport. But I would bring it back with Sue Barker and Ali McCoist and John Parrott. And
John Parrott.
yeah, he was funny. John Parrott.
John
Ali
Parrott?
McCoist was
John Parrott?
was funny.
Barrett.
And Sue Barker was the best host, better than David Vine and
Paddy
John
McGuinness.
and Coleman. I used to watch that religiously. I must admit.
Still on?
Question of Sport. Nah, it's not. It's
stopped
rubbish. They're stopping it. Why? I'll tell you why they're stopping it. Because they got that thick northerner, Paddy, whatever his name is, who's not a
No
comedian
Guinness.
at all. Yeah, Paddy, no Guinness. They got him on. Well, he ain't a sports person, is he?
No.
So what you've done is you demean the show. they tried to make it more entertainment rather than a sports quiz. And I loved it when it was a sports quiz.
It's like it with Emlyn Hughes. I knew
Yeah,
it.
Emlyn.
I knew it.
Yeah. Yeah, I always remember when he give out some jockey's name, wasn't it? And it was Princess Anne. That was quite funny. 'cause Princess Anne was on a guest a week later, I believe. Funny enough. But yeah,
Anyway,
there you go. Next up, we've got a virgin, which is not the same without Lynn being here. I
it's
must
not your
admit.
wife, is it?
No,
Oh.
it's not. Do you mind?
What is he like?
Well, I knew she was coming up. She's
Don't
asked a
judge
question.
me by your standards, yeah?
I don't know
Tinder.
if she's ever asked a question before.
Anyway.
Obviously today.
Mr. Tinder.
Yeah. Gary Amore. Like a more than just a podcast.
Mhm.
Or should we call him Bobby Amore? But Gary Bobby Amore. Evening, gents. Long-time listener, first-time questioner. Hope you like your name, Bobs. Do you think that some of this season's poor performances has been down to Deckgate, the constant speculation? This is a question that we can answer. Can you remember a worse winning performance than that against Fulham? He said, keep up the good work,
Hull
but he can't
City.
believe my first questions will end with Brady out when Len ain't going to be there.
Brady out.
Hull City when we booed Allardyce.
That was a
He
win.
cupped his ear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
That's
a
what he
win
said.
as well.
That was the
That's what he
question.
says.
Can you remember a
Alright.
worse winning performance? Nothing was worse than that whole game. Nothing.
No, that was pretty dire.
That was,
They went down to 10 men and we put on another defender.
yeah. And the winning goal was an own goal, yeah, but it was scored with not one West Ham, I think, attacker in the box when the ball was crossed. If you watch the winning goal, the geezer sliced it into his own net. Didn't their keeper get sent off? Wasn't it their keeper, was it? Or McGregor didn't he get taken off injured? If he didn't get
Oh, you've
sent
got a
off.
better memory than me.
I remember, oh mate, I remember that night.
Cup in his ear. Whee.
Yeah, I didn't see him do that. Scumbag. Bastard.
Anyway, move on.
Next up, I think it's another new name. It's Georgie Urbano. Do you remember that on the old Vic and Bob?
Yep.
Urbano. Well, this is
Urbano.
Georgie Urbano. It's the dove from above. See, there you go.
God.
That was
Everything
great.
all right, Nigel?
Yeah.
If
got
you had a
one
busy day, like,
Everything
You
Yeah.
got on paint fumes and paint in the kitchen.
You got to watch that. That program was brilliant. Old Vic and Bob. What's on the scores, George Dawes?
he's a baby.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, that's
See,
Matt
you know.
Lucas, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Matt Lucas. Evening, gents.
Famous sports personality.
How about this? Georgie's one of the 8, the original 8. Imagine if you could get all the original 8 listeners in a room. Georgie Ivano.
Be
Evening,
about 8
gents.
of them, wouldn't
I've been listening since 2012, but I've never asked a question.
What?
Oh.
It's not like we don't answer questions. Where you been, Georgie?
He says, as some light relief from the dour football we've been watching, can we hear more about Iron Maiden, Cart and Horses, and Nigel playing football with them? I'm betting this was around 1998 with the
listening live?
Virtual 11 album. It came with a picture of the band with Mark Overmars, Gazza Shaka Islop. He's put a picture up, the Virtual 11. Stuart Pearce in right. He said Lincoln decide if it's a Photoshop. And he then goes, also, we need to hear more, which we definitely don't, about the Metallica picture shown down to Nigel that needs to be kept quiet. No, that will never. Circle of trust. Anyway, it's not a heavy metal podcast. Brady Sullivan and 12 bags of popcorn out.
Popcorn out.
Well, Georgie, to answer it, basically, I had the honour around 1994, I believe, of playing in a football game on Wanstead Flats, marking a long-haired man who was playing up front. I was centre-half, playing centre-half that day, not in goal. And I just recognise, you know when you recognise someone, but you can't remember who they are. And it was literally halfway through the first half. I'm thinking, I know who you are. I know you. Nothing. And then he had his West Ham sweatbands. And Steve Harris, on stage, I'd seen Maiden about 5 times by then, always wore West Ham sweatbands on stage. And I literally went to him, fuck me, mate, you're Steve Harris out of Iron Maiden. And he literally just looked at me and went, yeah, I know.
And that's
So-
where Len is tonight.
And that's where Len is tonight.
Full circle.
He's
We'll
done
wrap it up
there,
done
shall we?
a
With him.
Thanks for
fantastic
coming.
painting
Yeah.
of Steve Harris, and he's off to get some signed prints done. So come into Len's shop soon, people. Like another picture which someone
as
has
well.
already itching to buy, because I've already sent the picture on. But we will see.
You might as
So-
well do Canning Town Len's question, because I have the reason I put the picture in the WhatsApp group is John is not on
Facebook, so you wouldn't have
Facebook,
seen it.
so
Yeah.
wouldn't have seen it.
Time.
So so Metallica, we don't need to discuss Metallica. That was something that happened backstage. But I did play football with Metallica's children that day as well. There you go.
But if you message me privately, Georgie, I can tell.
No. Circle of Trust. George has seen that picture, I believe. Circle of Trust.
Time.
You see that picture, George, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah.
Circle of Trust. There
Oh, did you
go.
show him?
No, it's in the Circle of Trust.
Oh, yeah, of course it is.
Yes?
Yeah.
So it stays in there, Sean.
And Sean's seen it.
Well, of course, he's in the Circle of Trust.
It could be leaked by someone.
It's not going to be leaked, because if it is, it's you and I'll break your fucking legs. Paul Noland, evening all show. Beep, beep. He said, as I did not attend the Newcastle game, does the game and score count, or is it null and void? He said, I've worked out I've attended over 1,000 games, so surely I'm allowed a null and void game. There's no mulligans here, mate. Apparently he was on a family trip to Liverpool, and we visited, he put Anfield, and Arsenal TV were filming. My daughter was daring me to say something. So after we walked round Anfield, we saw they were still filming, so being the good fathers, we walked past Arsenal TV and shouted, Lions! And they filmed it. He says they jumped a mile when I shouted it. So questions, he says, have you ever been on TV? And if so, what were you on? He said he's away next week in Portugal and he's missing the Ghent game. And happy birthday to his daughter who's 16. And
Happy
she's
birthday.
travelling with a Bicester hammer to the game. So thanks to Grant in advance. It's like a chat going on. Brady and Sullivan out.
We've all been on TV.
Brady
West
out.
Ham related.
George and John been on TV?
Yeah, of course they have. George.
We were on Soccer AM, remember? We talked
Soccer
about
AM.
Oh yeah, of course you were. Yeah.
I was on Match of the Day once, falling off the
Oh
falling
yeah,
on
that
the
was at the Chelsea game. Wasn't
Chelsea
That was me
game,
and John, yeah.
falling into the back of Sean.
We
Stuck in
also did. We were on a documentary, George, myself, and John, that I recently put up on Facebook. George, didn't I? What was it called?
Did you?
That was
No
the
idea.
photograph, wasn't it?
No. This was actually a documentary about in my West Ham shed, or the den, the West Ham den, which is an old garage, and they came to film us. Do you remember that, John?
I do, yes. I haven't seen the video for a while.
I'll send it to you.
I've not seen that.
Okay.
Uh,
It was like a West Ham den made in Sean's back garden. We watched all of was it
Really?
Euro '96 in
Yeah.
it as well.
Yeah, we did. So we did that.
What was that on? What channel? Was it like some
Sky.
obscure?
It was
like-
on Sky.
Oh, on
Sky
Sky.
Sports. It was filmed for Sky Sports.
It was pretty obscure back then, to be fair.
Yeah, we're more than just a podcast. You know what I mean, mate? We are
Whoa.
famous.
And of course the BBC documentary where West Ham struck gold about the London Stadium.
Yeah, and you mentioned
Oh, yeah,
brand
you did that.
more than often.
Well, actually, before we get on to high and mighty about us whoring ourselves out to TV, let's just talk about the times you've been on ITV. I know I've arranged a few of them as a sort of agent of you, but you've been in more than one.
Yeah, Sky TV. They
Sky
made
TV,
They made a
Premier
documentary.
League Productions.
Hold up. Sky made a documentary. This was before New Year's. About the Olympic Stadium battle between West Ham and Spurs. And that was the first one I was on. So that was 2011. Yeah, I also appeared on Japanese TV in regard to the Olympic Stadium move.
Yeah.
And I think there was another Arab channel that interviewed me in regards to this is at the height of my anti-move campaign when I was like the lunatic fringe. Then
Not much changed.
no, I'm just a lunatic now. No fringe.
No fringe about it.
Lunatic receding airline now. So yeah, I've done Sky, a couple of times, Premier League TV, BBC, general chit chat. You know me. I am a bit picky and choosy. I'm not like Sean. I won't just say yes.
There's nothing wrong with.
I won't just drop
Mark
my knickers at the sight of.
Mark Saggers on Talk TV. I'm a regular on the Sunday night
I know,
football.
and I turned that down, and when you wanted a stand in.
Yeah, I did. You did.
You know,
Yeah, and so you should be, Sean. You are the face of the West Ham.
Yeah, you are Mr. West Ham football after
You
all,
are.
Sean.
Yeah, true.
You are the archetypical West Ham fan, and
exactly.
hold the same opinion as most of the fans.
Exactly. Well said there, John.
Dear. You give Surrey Hammers a bad name, let alone proper West Ham fans. Dear.
Anyway, moving on.
The old Bicester Hammer, the carrot cruncher himself. Someone asked me the other day what a carrot cruncher was. I had to explain. That was your mate, wasn't it?
Who?
In the pub, John.
Who's that? What, Tom?
Yeah, or was it his girlfriend? Congratulations, whatever her name is.
Maddie and Tom?
Maddie, yeah, well done. He obviously won't listen, but she was a West Ham fan. She asked me what a carrot cruncher was, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I resisted the temptation to go, well, people like you actually, but I think she was from Dartford, so she got away with it.
Yeah.
Even though I did abuse her and said, "Oh, you got 6 fingers and toes." Evening, chaps. Hope you're well. Says Grant. Never the same without Len, but we don't always get what we want. Said the Rolling Stones. He's got a question quickly. If you're going to take a banner to the Arsenal game, what would it say and why?
Sean
Noise
out.
out, Sullivan ain't Brady out. Yeah, Sean out. Yeah.
Agenda's out.
Yeah.
Brady out.
Agenda's out. What? Are you going all trans on us now, Sean?
No, agenda's out. I'm just
Like,
saying.
you going like? Is it like you gender fluid now? Then gender's out.
If I wanted to, if I want to identify,
You
I should
joining
be able
Pride
to.
of Irons, are you?
Exactly. I should be able to identify what I want to identify.
Yeah. Well, we all identify you as something. So
Well, we know what we've never. We all know what we've never identified you as. So
yeah, West Ham fan. Well, if I took
Out
a
of the
ba-
3, I would have to say Moyes out. If I was forced. Bit like
course you would.
Snog, marry, avoid.
Oh, right. Go on then. Snog, marry, avoid. Moyes, Sullivan, and Brady.
You say that first, and I'll answer.
I'd marry Moyes, avoid Sullivan, and snog Brady.
I'm back. I whizzed through Epping Forest. I can't get enough of you lot.
I've been dragging this out. You
Have
don't
ya?
know.
You got one
No,
question then.
join in then.
No.
Oh, I was going to say, I did send him an invite.
I know.
Oh, dear.
How could I refuse?
Yeah, then, Jay. Snog,
Go on.
marry, avoid. Moyes, Sullivan, and Brady.
No, that's a fucking warm up, isn't it?
Snog,
Snog, marry, or avoid.
Moyes,
Bra-
Sullivan, or Brady?
I mean, I'm gonna have to. I don't know what the answer is, but I'm gonna have to. I'll marry Sullivan because he's gonna die soon. I'm gonna have to snog Brady through fucking gritted teeth, and everyone's got to avoid Moyes.
Oh,
He's a
right,
liar.
okay.
Can't have a relationship like that.
Yeah, he's right there. You got to marry. I mean, 1.5.
That's a
you
good
gotta
answer,
marry
to be
Sullivan,
fair.
haven't you? Right.
Well, I married Moyes.
Oh my God, you've got a fucking miserable life, Eddie.
No, there's no way I'm marrying Sullivan. Not even for the fact
Not
that
for
I
the
could
money.
give him an heart attack.
It won't be the first time someone's married him for the money.
Hey, you get it, Sean. Come on in, Sean. I want to.
Yeah.
You've actually got snog, marry, avoid. Come on.
Well, Sullivan for the money, right? Marry.
Yeah.
Snog Brady. Avoid Moyes.
All right. How would you give Sullivan a heart attack then? What would you do? What special thing would you do?
I think everything would just take its natural course.
Oh, I bet it would. Yeah. You're right. Actually, you are what many people think you are. That would do it. Father Chris Kinch, who was at the Newcastle game. Why, aye, lads. Evening, lads. Happy Easter. He says. He said, I made it to the home game against Newcastle in the end after sadly taking the funeral of a young person, but it was touch and go. Not helped
Yeah.
by having to wait for ages in the pouring rain to get through security going in. It then took me an hour just to get from the ground to the tube station after the game in the pouring rain because of the various stop and go points. Out of town, Chris, see, you'd have known. Will the club ever sort this out? Or is it just something we're supposed to accept as part of the move
Accept
from the
it.
bowling ground?
Well-
Made me miss.
Just accept it. That's what it's all about now.
I've got a bit of an update. Who was it? One of our listeners asked me to put in a
Chrissy
freedom of
Mills.
information.
Super Chrissy Mills.
I
Sorry.
got the answer yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, you got the answer.
Yeah.
Go away.
I can't tell you. They said.
Oh, right.
They said, and I've made an appeal for this. They said we can't tell you because telling you how many people we've stopped and how much it costs to provide all this security and what categories of people they stopped it's exempt from freedom of information. In the information they provide may prevent them from detecting future crimes.
All right. How
What?
about this, Sean? You ready?
Yeah.
On Saturday, 3 of us went to a game of football, yeah, where there
Yeah.
was no bridges to cross. Well, we crossed the bridge without getting searched. I beg to differ, yeah. We walked through a park without stop and go signs. We went into a football ground without being searched and
Yeah.
queuing at turnstiles. And we didn't stab anyone, blow anyone up, yeah, or commit any crimes.
Yeah. Well, I've appealed with that. By the way, on the Thursday game,
But if
they
Fulham can
didn't
do it,
stop
why
you.
can't we?
Hey, on the Thursday game with 7,000 of us, they didn't stop us at the bridge, and I'm thinking, oh no, security. They stopped us and searched us at the turnstiles. Wasn't that a cock up?
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was a mayhem, absolute mayhem. They did a little sort of procession walkway, and then they were patting everyone down at the turnstiles. That didn't work well at all. Just while we're
So
talking,
what are they? And this is the thing. One thing is no one ever said. What are the security searches for?
Well, we don't know because they've refused to answer because of law. But I've said I've appealed it. I've done done an internal review, and if I don't get the answer, I'll go to the Information Commissioner Office, the ICO. Guess what else they've refused to answer, Nigel?
How many fans are attending the games?
Yes. On what grounds?
None of your fucking business.
They're saying commercial confidentiality. West Ham refused to reveal the real number of fans that go to games because it's a commercial interest exemption. And I'm thinking, that makes no sense at all.
No.
The published number is how many tickets they sold. So what difference commercially does it make on how many people attended? It's the biggest load of baloney, and
They're trying to say how many people see the advertising they sell.
Well, I don't know, but I've appealed that one, and I've told them I'm going to go to the ICO if I don't get the answer on that one. So
Perhaps in like the way West Ham run things, perhaps they're like fiddling HMRC, but they've got the wrong way round. Like years ago, we used to say, "Oh, there's only 40,000 in the ground," when there was 45,000 at Hudson Park.
well, I won't give in. They did tell me
now
how
we're
much.
doing it backwards. We're paying more tax than we should.
They have
We're
told me
fit.
how much they've spent on lawyers just on the London.
11.5 million.
11.7 million. That is ridiculous. And they're still spending more.
Yeah.
And the beat goes on. And they still haven't answered did they have any contact with Daniel Kredinsky? That's coming on Friday. Watch this space.
Look forward to that. And you said there was no news. Next up, top fan Matty Kemp. This is evening, gents. Any truth in the rumours Moyes has mutual agreement with the West Ham board for him to leave at the end of the season?
No.
Secondly, has Nolan and Moyes fallen out? Sean, what's the real story?
So
Throw it
look,
out.
I've got to be careful what I say about Nolan because it's hearsay. I only know what I'm told. But he likes good time, does Nolan? Right? He's known for it. Good time comedian.
Does he hang around pubs in Loughton?
I couldn't say that
Oh, right.
because that would be going too far. but I don't think they always see eye to eye on coaching.
Oh, right.
And him and another coach, who remain nameless,
Ovis.
have maybe told some tales out of school, let's just say.
Mr. Bread.
Yeah.
And those stories get out.
Pillsbury Doughboy.
I got that one, yeah. So, who's to say it's hearsay? You just hear things. But that's how these rumours and stories and stuff get out. But, I did run a story. There was a heated exchange during a game, and that is fact, because that was on
We
the
saw
TV
it.
cameras. But, I think sometimes coaches always have a difference of opinion, and what I hear, Moyes is a little bit stubborn in his views, and he says, well, you're entitled to your opinion, but you can F off. Now, whether he really does say that or not, but that's how some people tell the story.
Oh,
So really, I don't know what the real story is. I only know what people have said is the real story.
who knows?
Who knows?
This is just for Len, yeah? Len.
Go on.
Not long-time listener, yeah,
Right.
but first-time question, was disappointed. His name's Gary Amore. I called him Bobby Amore. But can you just say, Brady out?
Brady out.
Here you go, Gal. Done it for you. It's like, Jim will fix it. Now then.
Yeah.
Have we got
Maybe
to your
not.
wife yet? She must be
No,
coming
we ain't
up.
got to it anyway.
There's not many left.
Yeah, Neil Edwards. He said, the Eagle. Evening, chaps, he says. That's okay. Another 2 pretty poor performances, but 3 points out of 6, and we're still on course to avoid relegation. Weirdly, individual errors aside, he said he thought we played better against Newcastle than we did Southampton or Fulham. Well, if we'd have discussed the Newcastle game, we would have known. But with 11 and 14 games to go, I just wondered who each of your Hammer of the Year would be if you had to vote today. He said it's about as hard a decision you can remember, to be honest. He says no one has stood out and so many players have underperformed. He says he don't think anyone deserves it as things stand. He hopes for survival, long overdue trophy, and it'll make it easy by the end. Keep up the good work. Brady out!
Brady out. You could drop to the youth team.
Yeah. Well, there will be a young Hammer of the Year, isn't it? But
Yeah, well, that might be true, but, we
Obama's
can make a
gonna
point
win
of
that,
it.
I reckon. But Hammer of the Year, quickly.
Declan.
Sean?
He's the most obvious choice,
Is he?
because it is a tricky one.
Okay. Is John still there?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Declan.
Declan.
Got to be. He's going to be. You've got to say goodbye to him. For something.
Exactly.
Was it? Oh,
Yeah.
right, okay. Personally, I think Fabianski.
Oh, here we go.
Oh,
Keep
Fucking
oh,
goalkeeper
God.
union.
Unbelievable. He's incredible, isn't he?
Fucking hell, he's just kept 2 clean sheets, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah. Goldfish mode.
No,
no.
he's kept 1 clean sheet.
No, he kept 2, Southampton and
Yeah, but it's like
listening to Moyes.
2 clean sheets over the But there was one in the middle that it wasn't quite as clean.
So we all have them moments, believe me, some more than others. That's why I played at once. When people ever say to me, "Was you any good?" Like, I played once in Fats. How good do you think I was? I was shit. And boy, did I prove it week in, week out. But anyway, next up is Canning Town Len.
That's me.
He says, by request of Nigel and Sean, which is bound to put it at the top of the worst sellers, Len's Art Fair. Not sure Sean asked for it. Can I just say,
I sent the pictures, thank you very much.
someone's already been in touch, Len.
Oh, right.
And he wants to know, yeah? I will talk after. I'll pass the details on
It's Morrissey.
what he thinks for.
It's Morrissey.
Yeah.
All
So,
Okie dokie.
he is in the country, Morrissey,
Oh.
obviously.
Oh, okay.
Question. He said, thanks to Sean irresponsible reporting of Kirby's possible return as a temporary manager, our YouTubers resigned and moan about managers respectively.
Retrospectively.
Thank you. Go on, say it again.
Retrospectively.
Due to a lack of content. Brady out.
Brady out.
Brady
I
out.
don't like people fucking moaning nearly 20 years after saying, oh, Kirby is boring, this, that, and the fucking other. He don't give a fucking shit. He's a fucking grandfather. He goes out with his mates on the piss. He don't want to be a football manager anymore. Sean?
So he turned us down in.
I'm just a messenger, Len. I'm just a messenger.
That was no then, he
Got
said.
fucking much better thing to do than fucking go for that again.
I understand.
He's already been paid up. Why would we go for that again?
If I'm going to make up something, I'm not going to pick Alan Kirkchley. I'm just saying, right?
Is he going to get the money? Would he have to give the money back? Is it one of them? Do I have to give the money
Don't
back?
know. They'd never get that far.
Dear, oh dear.
We know this all came
That's
about.
one of the. It was,
Yeah, but we're not going to talk our sausages.
No, we're not.
Story, you know, and you
Especially
think,
as I
oh
happened to
my
go to the bar at the sausage factory at the time, and when you brought it up,
Did you talk to Curbs?
no, you didn't even ask him. Fucking hell!
No,
I wouldn't know the answer anyway.
See, I'm disappointed because I was there. I was picturing Curbs standing down to like Alvin. You never guess what they've asked.
Yeah. Could you imagine that? Yeah. He's actually said to me before when we was talking about it, like, about management. What he said was to me, he goes, "I couldn't be a manager now, not with all these people having mobile phones and they'll record you and stuff, and they're all grouses these days." That's what he actually said.
Yeah.
He said it's not just football that's passing by. He said just sort of technology and
Did you record that on the mobile
20-odd-year-olds passing by. You know.
Did you record that on the
when he
mobile phone?
did I what?
Did you record that on the mobile phone?
No, I didn't. No. But you got to remember, like, it's nearly 20 years ago. Some of these players that he'd have to manage weren't even born. I mean, time moves quickly. You got to, you know, why
It doesn't
people
on this
losing
fucking
their ragga?
podcast. I'll tell you that, Len.
Sorry, I'm only slowing it up, aren't I?
No, you're right.
Anyway, nice picture. Hope your little visit went well tonight.
Yep.
And,
Thank you very much.
And yeah, good luck for the Morrissey painting.
Wait till
Yeah,
I whack
thank you.
that
I
on a
think
few
I'll-
Morrissey sites, mate.
I think
telling you,
I'll
I
need
think
it.
You're in for a shock.
Anyway,
Once I
moving
put
on
that
to the next question.
Yeah, let's.
Nigel.
Well, you never sold many records, let alone paintings.
Mate, I was telling you now, don't you? Right, he sells records by the shitloads. When the
Yeah.
record companies put it out, he's got a loyal following, don't you?
Anyway,
Yeah.
it's not the Smiths podcast.
I'll tell you what, he's big in Mexico and all, and you know how many Mexicans there
Yeah,
are.
I remember when
Move
you said
on,
paint the
Nigel.
bowling castle, and I got fucking two of them.
Read
And you
the
did.
question from your wife.
I did
Can I read
say
the question
that.
from your wife?
You know when you think, how cheeky would it be if I go, oh,
Can I read the
fucking
question
hell.
from your wife?
Well, no, because Andrew Hall's up first.
Oh.
He says, hello,
Doogie.
guys. Doogie's up. And a great picture of him as a little kid in his West Ham kit.
Great, wasn't it?
I was a bit jealous of that,
Yeah.
to be fair. Have you still got the shirt, basically? Because I wish I had mine. Hello, guys, he says. Even though I was chuffed to take the 3 points, it was a terrible performance to watch. And offensively, we were terrible. It just appears that it's kept Moyes in a job till the end of the season. What do we think the team will be like in Ghent? Will he play a team to win or reserves to keep them fresh for Arsenal? Surely it's an ideal game for
Strong
Mubamba to start for us.
Strong
Moyes, Brady,
team.
son of an ah!
Sean Brady Sullivan out.
Strong team.
Yeah, strong team.
All right.
I think he'll have, Paquetá will be fit again. Will start. I mean, Lanzini, Fornals, Areola obviously in goal. Who else?
Lanzini will play because he's played every game in Europe.
Yeah.
Johnson will play.
Yeah, Johnson. Yeah. Yeah.
Right, okay.
Good luck.
Well, we'll see.
But 100 to 1 chance he might play Skamaka.
Anyway, Samantha Hardy
Yeah.
said, I bet Nigel's kitchen is looking lovely after the repainting. Not
Anyway,
Samantha Hardy.
moving on.
That rings a bell. So at the beginning of this podcast, just to remind the listeners, you said my wife, who is actually Samantha, Sam,
My wife.
said she didn't mind because what you did do was better than repainting the kitchen.
I didn't say better, but what I did was I got a skip and I cleared a lot of stuff that had to be cleared.
All right. So this comment seems a bit of a dig at you not about
Oh,
repainting the kitchen.
listen, she's one of them, innit? She thinks she's funny. That's what 34 years of living with me does to you.
Okay.
She's still not 50 yet. Anyway, cheeky lines. It says, evening all, long time no comment. Hope you're all well. Hope you're well, cheeks. He said, mixed emotions after Fulham. Part of me, terrible to say this. Part of me wanted to salute some Moyes, got the boot. But the other part of me all wants him to prove the doubters wrong and keep us up. At Everton, he'd often have a couple of good seasons and one struggling. What he did do at Everton is he had a season where he kept them up. He had a good season. Then they finished 17th, and then they never finished below 11th.
You've said this before, Nigel.
Yeah. But that is true. That's what's this, So it's one of them things where you think, what if they'd have got rid of him? What if,
They might have done a bit better.
He says, I think we all forget the mass turnover of players. I don't think we do, that left and came in the summer. And let's be honest, any club with that many players coming and going would struggle. Oh, he's talking sense. Anyway, he says, if Moyes keeps us up and the board decides to give him one more season, what's he got to do to change the fans' opinion? He said, did he change the team, backroom staff, set up? He said, thanks for the podcast, because he sort of lost touch with all things West Ham for a few months. Thought I'd come back and listen to you guys. Well, I hope you're doing well. Kutinsky and Brady out.
Kutinsky and Brady out.
Steve, I hope everything's all right with you, mate.
What's Kutinsky done now? Why do people want Kutinsky?
Well, he's
out?
getting in early, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Don't get in too early, not Nick Killington. He's got fucking nothing to talk about now.
Don't mention
Evening,
the war.
Nick.
Len,
Yeah.
don't mention the war. I mentioned
Nah.
it once. I got away with it.
Poor
Don't
fucking
mention the war.
Nick. He's got the rest of the season. Fucking hell, he'll never make it.
So, what's Moyes got? So next season, Moyes is in charge. What
He's
happens?
burnt his bridges.
I
It's too
fucking...
late.
No.
No way back.
No, there is a way back, Sean, if we win the European
I
Vase.
think that, no, I don't. I think
That's what we've said. He's gonna win that. We're gonna finish 17th or 16th
13th.
Or 12th.
or
13th.
whatever. And Sullivan just won't sack him. He can't sack him. So
We'll see.
we've
I don't
got
think
him. He will sell
West Ham
all
fans
his
have
summer
long memories.
signings for half the price that he got them for. He will start Danny Ings, and he will go and get McTominay from Man United when they go and get Declan Rice.
Yeah.
And then we'll try and have a little bit more than 36% possession at home. That's what he's got to do.
Right. Next
Sounds
up,
appealing.
yeah, it does.
Sounds exciting, doesn't it?
Oh, I can't wait. That'll get me reading him, won't it?
Wait till you see that trophy, mate. You'll be there. You'll be back.
But lovely looking trophy.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I look forward to painting it.
Hey up, Sean, says AI Sean, or hey up, gentleman. He said, I was going to moan about Moyes wasting 9 months and 70 million by reverting back to where he started 2 years ago. But then I was inspired by Sean and Len's little ditty about
A limerick?
Nigel last week.
It's a
So he's-
limerick.
So he's got an ode to Sean the Stooge. There once was a man called Sean who yearned to be David Sullivan's spawn. He is known as the Stooge, and his writing for Sully is huge. Sean's does as he's told, just like he's part of the Sullivan household. He always carries out his boss's plan, no matter the risk, for he's part of the clan. Some people think he a fool for blindly following Sullivan's rule, but Sean don't mind the talk, even when it makes him look like a dork. Despite the criticisms and the jeer, Sean remains loyal year after year. He knows his place and his role as Sullivan's right-hand man, right up his arsehole. So here's to Sean, the loyal stooge, who never falters or refuses. He does what he has to do for his boss and the Baroness twos. Brady out, Moyes out, Sullivan out!
Brady out, Moyes out, Sullivan out, everyone out.
How droll.
Yeah, there you go. Not
That's
funny.
quite good.
Yeah. I thought it was quite funny. Well
Too
done,
much time on your hands.
Nicholas. Well
Nick
done.
Harvey.
Next up, it be Darcy. All right, my handsome. Oh, where's all Gummidge is here? How's you doing? We had a great time, old Darcy, didn't we, on Saturday? We had a great time. Took a picture of me, thought I was queuing up for a beer. What you didn't realise, I was queuing up for a pie.
Oh dear.
It was nice
Yeah.
to meet him. Nice man.
Yeah, he was, wasn't it? He's a nice man, isn't he? Very
Very
nice.
nice man.
Very nice man.
Very nice.
I'd forgot that was the first time you met him.
Yeah.
Before we start, he says, I'm off to bed because I've got 4 o'clock morning appointment with the car to take me to lots of beers in Belgium. Leave it.
Nice.
You don't know who's listening. But, lads, please reference last week's podcast. If Len just wants to paint and Nigel needs to paint his kitchen, couldn't you kill 2 birds with 1 stone, Len, and paint Nigel's
That's
kitchen?
a really good idea.
I get that every fucking day.
Yeah. Reference Kew Gardens. Sean knows the reason. 1, it's on the way from Taunton to London. 2, it's free parking for a mile alongside the road by the train station. And 3, the overground goes straight from Kew to Hackney Wick. No
And
security checks.
4, Sean recommended her.
Yeah. There you go.
Recommended who?
Leave it, I said. Leave it.
Leave it.
Dear, leave it. And this is Saturday, because you've missed this. We had a minute's silence for Dodsy's wallet. Because
Oh.
I don't know if we went for a drink in a pub, and it's quite funny because he said he was in the Rocket, and I met him outside a pub, and then I noticed we were drinking in a pub called the Boathouse, and the Rocket was over there. And John and George went in the Rocket, so I had to ring them up saying, "No, we're in the Boathouse, come out." And they said, "Quite, it's packed in there." And the Boathouse was half empty. It was nice to get a beer. And Dodsey insisted on buying everyone a beer. When I say everyone, so there was 6 of us. And
Right.
then he texted me yesterday
Right.
to say, that round of beer cost me £49.
Oh, and Doddsy don't like to spend money. I mean, that's
Oh,
why
no.
he loves Kew
He's
Gardens.
I'm a pensioner, you know. I'm a
Fucking hell.
pensioner. Oh, dear.
On his Tesco's
So I
pension.
said, blimey, it makes the London Stadium look cheap. 6 beers. Anyway, he said that Saturday's Nigel agreed with me. London Stadium now appears cheap for beer. Well, after that, Dodds, I'll make you right.
You missed the one question. What's the minimum that will keep David Moyes in his job?
What's the minimum? I think winning that trophy myself.
I don't think that will keep him in his job.
There's got to be a minimum.
Well, the minimum is that he's got to change. It can't be a one-trick pony. He's got to change and show that he can play differently.
We fell for that with that other wanker, who promised he'd change.
And he never
did. He did it for 4 months.
Yeah.
Got us up the table and then went, fuck that lot.
Yeah, well,
And
that's
then-
always the danger, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think. I think he can go out on a high and just say mutual consent.
Yeah.
Well, I won a trophy.
That's what I'd like for him to,
I
to do.
survived. I'll take my money and move on. Good luck, West Ham.
But then I'd feel sorry because I think if he's done that, he's got us into Europe with a 3rd year running.
Yeah, I know.
Does he not deserve another crack at it? I don't know.
He needs. It's a bit like Doddsy. He needs to retire and enjoy his life with his family. I mean, I just think it's wrong that his wife lives up north.
She
and he
might
lives in
like
a
it like
hotel
that.
room.
Bit
And he's
like
done
Doddsy.
that forever, hasn't he?
She might like it like that.
Maybe.
You don't know.
In the football season, he doesn't see his family very much, is what I hear.
All right. Okay. Oh, Darren McBurney, old McDonald's. He says, good evening, gentlemen. 3 points against Fulham, but another dog shit performance. I know Moyes won't. But would you go for it in the remaining games or surrender possession, as we normally do, and hope to scrape a lucky 1-0 victory? Brady out. Horses for
Brady out.
courses. Horses
Yeah, you
for
can't play everyone the
courses.
same way.
No, you can't.
Funny enough, that's exactly what Moyes does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Which is where he goes wrong.
Mm.
Jonathan Lowe.
Oh, have we
The
still
Rev.
got more?
Dearly beloved, I'm probably too late. You're not, John. Not you, son. But want to thank you all for making us all smile at a pretty disappointment time performance-wise. And please assure all the new West Ham supporters or those with short memories, this is what supporting the Hams is
Exactly.
really like. Keep up the good work, he says. Blessings.
Thank you.
Ian Gravitt's a top fan. Hello, you beautiful people. I hope all is well. does Moyes think that by using the tried and trusted, everything will be rosy? Koo fails the lesser of three evils. Kieran Johnson both tried and failed. Once again, Souček's playing next to Rice instead of just behind Antonio. Does Moyes not get that by playing two up front, you still need midfield runners? Otherwise,
Yeah,
it's
of course
pointless.
you do. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you are right there. I must. You
He
got to
didn't
have
really
people.
play two up front though, did he?
No,
He
he
only-
didn't. Ings was not up front.
No.
No.
Even
Do you
though
know
he
what?
said he was.
I didn't watch the game, right? And I said, I done a bit of gardening instead. I couldn't be fucking. Because I know
Oh,
what
you got
gonna-
out the house
what
at
gonna
least.
get.
Well done.
Yeah, in the garden, yeah. And John Watomsky texted me. I said, John, I haven't seen it yet. Is it worth watching? He said, we had 23% possession, so I wouldn't bother. And I thought, I'll just turn it on, right? And on the replay, on the Woody box. I turned it on the replay, and we had this, it looked like a 4-4-2 formation on the edge of our box. I've never seen nothing below it. Like a condensed 4-4-2. And I thought, no, I'm not watching this. I turned it off again. So I don't know if it was a 4-4-2 or not.
Well,
But the point of the matter is, if you can't just have two players up front. What we need is runners from midfield. If we can join the attack from midfield like we join the defence from midfield, we'd be fine.
Yeah.
So
If Cornet squared it, we would have won too.
yeah, I saw that bit.
Look,
so I saw like the
it
highlights.
looked like a team
Brief
that had
highlights.
forgotten how to play 4-4-2. So it looked like to me he'd put four defenders, four midfielders, and two forward players out there.
Yeah,
But they actually are like looking at each other, thinking, "What the fuck do we do?" We don't.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it looked to me.
yeah, brainwashed.
Yeah. Adam Levitt, want to know is Roy Hodgson doing well at Palace, Neil Warnock doing well at Huddersfield, so why don't we get Harry in?
No.
Do a temporary manager, he would
He's
do really
further
well.
back than fucking
Oh
Curbs.
no, it's mad, isn't it? I believe fans will get behind him. Adam then says, "Get boys out of the club." He knows he would. What did he say? Get Moyes, get him out of the club. He played for us, and he would come to West Ham. Brady knows him. Terry Brown knows him, and I think he would get us out of this. He said, "With Moyes, I feels lost the dressing room. Don't believe everything you hear, Ed." He knows his way to the dressing room.
I
They
believe it.
take him. Yeah. He said it makes him sad because he was a great manager, but he should go before it gets worse.
Is that it?
No. Ding-a-ling. Evening, gents. Brady out. Turns
Brady
out my
out.
sticker has been removed from my seat during my recent absence. Mine's still there. From the pit of misery, how rude. Just as well I have the courtesy of Lena. Won't be denied.
Yeah.
He said, "What's going on with Skamaka? Can anyone shed some light on this situation? It was getting a stink to eye heaven. Brady out."
Brady out.
If we're to believe the manager, he's having treatment on his knee. Well, my sources say he's due to start light training this. He's not gone to Belgium or won't go to Belgium tomorrow. He's due to restart training on
He's
Friday.
giving his groin a rest.
Knee.
Oh, knee. Yeah, sorry, not Dodgy. Yeah,
Get with the program.
sorry.
Got to remember what his knee.
Yeah, his knee, yeah. Next up, Super Chrissy Mills. Another week, fantastic result, but pony again. Nevertheless, I think we've got to accept Moyes ain't going, and this is the football we'll endure till the end of the season, and then hopefully he'll go. He says, no matter what we pick, we just end up with 10 behind the ball. He's got a question for you, Sean. He says, I know I always bang on about it, and this is a good question. Do Sullivan and Brady actually realise how shit it is for fans at the LS? Are they not in the
No.
slightest bit embarrassed by their legacy? And will they at least be prepared to do more to fight? Like in regards to searches, prices, stop and go atmosphere, or just turn a blind eye and deny it's getting worse while every other club...
We've talked about this before, but they're shielded by it somewhat. And
How do we get them to see then?
Well,
Well, they're
there's a
never
lot
going to
of-
see it with sycophants like you
Yeah, but
behind
do
them.
you know
are they?
what? I do. Look, the reason I stepped down from the official supporters board was exactly that. And I said to Brady, look, this has got no credibility. We're seen as a bunch of nodding dogs with no real stuff. And that was the one forum where people will go, it's shit. And Brady used to say, well, my people say you're wrong, that things are improving, that, experience is improving. And there is somewhat this fresh smell of paint, that they only get told what the people around them want to tell them. And you can tell them that people still think it's shit, but they're in denial. So, when you're constantly surrounded by yes men and other people, and I'm talking employees, not stooges or anything, then, and I have told both of those two people the way it is, but you can be one lonely voice and going, well, that's not what the majority of people say. And unfortunately, there are lots of people who have got complete apathy about the stadium that don't see it the same way. So they just carry on with it. So to answer the question, I think they are oblivious to how some of the fan base feel about the club and the stadium and the searches and all the other things we have to put up with.
All right. But
Maybe that's why they won't.
Sean.
But maybe that's why they won't give you the official figures of the attendance.
Yeah,
Because
I'm sure that is some of it.
That might show you.
I'll get them though, John. Like a dog with a bone.
But then again, it just shows that George and John will tell you we didn't get searched, did we?
No.
Not a search.
Yeah,
Going into the weigh-in, there was turnstiles. There was the stewards in the street and everything, just saying, yeah, use that turnstile, mate, straight in. No problem. No searches. No bag search. No nothing. Well, they searched people. Actually, you know where the bag searches took place, Sean? Inside the ground.
There you go.
Yeah, there's a novelty. Why don't they try that so they don't stop us going in the ground? Stop that. If people want to take the bag in and get in our way, get out of our way. Do it elsewhere. Next up, Sean the Doog. Evening, gents. Emotional roller coaster. Mixed emotion, boys. We had 2 great seasons. It's been dire, said. He said, I wanted him sacked out the Newcastle game. But if we had the patience, could we come good again under Moyes next season? He said, would this squad plus money from Rice? He then says, it looks like the players still want to play for him. Being a West Ham fan, it's been hard work, but we could still get super. Last one is Lou Allen. Good evening, gents. Hope you all had a good Easter. What do we think the future has in store for the new signings? He said Fulham was a must-win game and Moyes went back to the trusted players of the last few years. If he stays, I think a fair few will want out. Enjoy the rest of the week, lads, and let's hope it ain't a cricket score on Sunday. Brady out, Moyes out.
Well, I think bring a new manager in that can get the best out in the new players. Roberto Mancini, why not?
All right. What about Henry Mancini?
Yeah.
He could get a tune out of people.
Anyway, let's move on to predictions. Unless you've got any ideas of what someone can do with players next year, John.
I think if he stays, then we have another wholesale change in the summer.
Yeah.
Another big financial loss all round, popped up by the sale of Rice.
Yeah.
And
True that. What cheery thought. Predictions, John. Gink and Arsenal, the Gunners.
2-1 win.
Playing, aren't we?
2-1 win against Ghent. 4-0 loss against Arsenal.
No, Len.
We're at home against Ghent, aren't we?
No,
away. I still think we'll beat Ghent.
1-6 kick-off, people.
Yeah,
I've heard that. 1-0 to West Ham against Ghent. We got Arsenal weekend, didn't we?
Yeah.
Oh, heavy, baby. Heavy. 4-1.
To West Ham?
No, to Arsenal.
Oh, right, okay. I think George is muted at the moment, so I think he's...
George has had to go.
Yeah.
Nice talking to you, George.
Nigel?
I'm going to go, I think, of 3-0 against Ghent, West Ham win. And then I'm going to go for a 0-0 draw.
Ooh.
Fucking hell. What, we're going to line them up on the fucking line?
We're going to play 5-5.
Fucking hell. Can you imagine it?
How
are you keeping them out?
All hands to the pump. 10 at the back.
Horse 9. I think, after a long, hard thought about this, we'll win 1-0 away from home, and we'll win 1-0 away at Arsenal. They'll go down to 10 men.
We're 1-0
We're
away.
at home.
We're at home, Sean.
Sorry, 1-0 away in Belgium, right?
Yeah.
We're going to win. And
Yeah.
then 1-0 at home against Arsenal. They're going to go down to 9 men, and we're going to get a penalty. And Ben Rama is going to score it. And then we're going to put everybody behind the ball and defend it for the next half a game. And we're going to
So
scrape
you think
1-0.
Ben Rama a start?
We've got a 1-0 victory against Arsenal, and it'll be that game that costs them the title, and City will catch.
When was the last time we beat Arsenal? Wasn't it Bilic?
No, look, stop.
Yeah.
Stop
Yeah.
spoiling my fantasy.
But then again, you know, we were dead and buried, weren't we, under Kirbishley, and we went to the Emirates and done them 1-0. And that was a game where I'd love to see the stats. We possibly
We had one
had
shot and it went in.
one shot, and it was from the halfway line.
How many we had against us?
Yeah.
Green played a blinder, didn't he?
Rob Green was Ludek-esque in his performance against Arsenal away, and that actually did as much to keep us up than the Carlos Tevez that cost us 30 million we had to give to Sheffield United. But obviously wasn't.
Anyway,
ever.
that's all we have this week.
Brought to
We'll be
pan.
back on the normal day, normal time next week. Hopefully we'll have a full house. I've been Sean, and Nigel has been...
Sitting on my sofa in my shed.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Been...
Yeah.
I've been hoodwinked into staying for the question.
Yeah, you have. You
You
did
have?
say. I thought it'd be quicker than this, John. I'm sorry about that.
Hoodwinked.
Hoodwinked. George has long gone, and Leonard's been
Late.
a latecomer.
Very.
Come on, you irons.
And your irons.
Bobby Moore, more than just a podcast. Bobby Moore, more than just a podcast.